Hi students, myself Dr. K. Sivaya, Department of Pharmacology, Faculty of Santhiram College of Pharmacy. So our next topic is drug-induced birth defects. So the drugs that causes the various birth defects. So birth defect is an abnormality of structure or function or metabolism so present at birth, so that results in physical or mental disabilities or death. So abnormal, if it is abnormal development, so what happened? Either miscarriage or stillbirth. So spontaneous abortion, the naturally ending of a pregnancy before the embryo or fetus could possibly survive. Stillbirth, the natural ending of pregnancy after 20 weeks. So these are the abnormal development. So what are the main causes of birth defects? So main the causes of birth defects, environmental factors, some genetical problems, some drug causes. But however, the causes about 70% of birth defects are unknown, but these are the few. So congenital anomaly, so is a structural abnormality of any type is present in at birth. So it is a congenital. Anomaly may be induced by genetic or environmental factors. So these congenital either abnormalities so may be induced by genetic or environmental factors. So congenital anomalies may be single or multiple. That may be single or multiple. And of minor or major clinical significance, it's mainly depending upon the exposure of environment factors or genes. So during the first 2 weeks of development, after the pregnancy, in the first 2 weeks, development teratogenic agents usually kill the embryo or have no effect. So which have the some teratogenic agents. So suppose if you take tetracyclines or some other antibiotics, some phenytoin. So these drugs, if you taken the pregnant to kill the embryo or no effect. So if it is teratogenic, compulsory it will kill the embryo. If it is not that much effect, no effect. So during the organogenesis period of 3rd to 8th weeks, teratogenic agents may cause a major congenital anomalies. So this is the major. Suppose if you take these phenytoins or these drugs in the 3rd and 8th week, you can get the congenital defects. So during the fetal period 9th week to 9th month, from 9th week to 9th month, you know, in every month we have the 4 weeks, here 9th week. So 9th week nothing but 3rd month. So in 3rd month, 9th month, so 9th week to 9th month, teratogens may produce morphological and functional abnormalities, particular of the brain and eyes. So where it is mainly affected from the 9th week to 9th month, it is mainly morphological functional abnormalities, especially brain and eyes. Causes of congenital anomalies. So genetic factors such as chromosomal abnormalities and mutant genes. Environmental factors, the mother had German measles in early pregnancy will cause abnormality in the embryo. If the mother had the German measles, but if the mother had get the measles in pregnancy, during pregnancy, will cause the abnormality in the embryo. And combined genetic and environment factors, sometimes multifactorials. See, this is overall information what we discussed last 3 slides. So first 2 weeks, if the teratogens, if it taken, it kills the embryo. From third to eighth, it will get the abnormalities because of in third week, fourth week, fifth week, sixth week, eighth, seventh week, eighth week, during the here the development of limbs, it's a starting ears, eye, limbs, nose, these are all, it will develop. This is starting stage for the organ. So during this time, if the patient taken the any teratogenic drug, it will defect the eyes or heart or limbs or teeth, whatever it is. Then in ninth week to and ninth month, it will mainly affect the brain. It will mainly affect the brain because of the brain cells are developing more in the time from ninth week to ninth month. So that's why, and also eyes also. So that's why CNS in the ninth week to ninth month, you can affect the brain and eyes. So here the overall information regarding the abnormalities affected by the genetical or environmental or drug induces. So outcomes in pregnancy: 57% of pregnancies detected by HCG at 8 to 9 days after fertilization do not develop as a clinically detectable pregnancies. Actually, if the patient pregnant is there, human gonadotropin hormone detected easily after fertilization, but it is not detectable, so it is not possible to get pregnancy. So 15-20% of recognizable pregnancies end in spontaneous abortion, 90% in the first trimester. So first one is the maximum percentage, and next percentage is abortion takes place. That is, it is happen in the first trimester. So 90% of abortion, it is happen in the first trimester only. Remaining percent of these peoples, out of 100 people, 50 to 20 members get this spontaneous abortion. So especially in the first trimester, they are getting 90%, remaining 10% only either 4th month, 5th month, 6th month, 7th month, like that. And the second trimester or third trimester, we can say like that. 0.4% of pregnancy end miscarriage. 20 weeks. 20 weeks, so 5 months, 5 to 6, 5 months. So 0 is there are miscarriage. So this is the percentage. 2 to 3% of newborn have major malformation, severe enough to require hospitalization. 2 to 3% have a major malformation because of enough not require hospitalization is not suitable. So these are the development of brain, how is developing from 18 days, 20 days, 22 days, 24 days. If any infected or drug induces or environmental factors, we can get this type of encephaly and spina bifida. So illustrated guide from a malformation of the CNS at birth. So these are the happen. So this is a 5 weeks human embryo from conception to birth. our most important is regarding as per the Lipson 1994 Medicine Press in the so some defects. Then after that the patient like this, so bilateral cleft lip and palate appearance guide by the cleft palate clinic children's hospital. Then after that they given the treatment, then after this, so this may be genetical. Next, so ventricle, sometimes heart also. So what we discussed in the diagram, so in the diagram, so here if any drug induces or genetical or environmental factors affects, so this is normal heart, everybody know, but this is defect. So because of this there is no so what happened, the deoxygenated blood enter into the oxygenated blood. Due to this the oxygen supply is very very less, and then patient goes to die. So the nature of the birth defects and their relation to drug. Birth defects are part of the human condition, having been observed throughout history. Major birth defects are typically defined as those are that life threatening, require major surgery, or present a significant liability, affect approximately 3 to 4% of live born infants. So 40 to 90% women consume first drug during pregnancy. So what that drugs, especially antibiotics, tetracycline, anticoagulants, warfarin. Tetracycline induces the abnormalities of limbs. It's make bond with the calcium. And anticoagulants, warfarin induces hypoplasia. NSAIDs induce the embryonic implantation disturbances. So alcohol induces fetal alcohol syndrome, we can see. Antifungal induces some effects to the baby. Antiviral drugs and vitamin A, but as it is a high dose, can cause embryo lethality means die. So clinical problems are to be addressed by epidemiological research. So teratogenesis is a critical aspect of drugs, and such information obviously should be available to prescribers and consumers. So that information should to know the prescribers as well as consumers and nothing but patients. So teratogenesis raises uniquely important and clinical issues. First, the fetus is the innocent bystander with respect to its mother therapy. It is mainly the first, mainly depending upon the mother therapy, nothing but a mother whatever taken, it will affect it to the fetus. Second, teratogenesis is not a concern limited to women who are pregnant. When drug treatment is initiated, it must also be a concern among women who might become pregnant after a drug is prescribed. Drugs known to be teratogenic. So 3 approaches applied to the few drugs known to be teratogenic. So that is what are the 3 approaches. In rare instances, such as was the case for thalidomide, in most countries the drug was prohibited from the general market also. That is one. For most known teratogens such phenytoin and valproic acid, the absolute risk to the fetus is modestly elevated, and the drug is felt to fill an important clinical need. So fed to fill and import clinical need. So what after getting these abnormalities from these drug indices, then the prescribers well known about the how the drugs to induces the abnormalities or defects. So third approach involves the formal program of physician and patient education combined in some cases with restricted access to the drug. The education component is intended to assure that physicians and their patients about the drug. Some drugs, it is sometimes the physician and patient communication, if it is not happen, so the patient taking the more dose of the drug or miss the dose. So that sometimes what happen, that dose of the drug it causes the, if the dose, if it is the maximum, the heavy dose, it causes the teratogenicity. It is so physician and patient education combined. It's a like a communication between the patient and physician. So this is the rare instance. So we cannot, so suppose we identified the thalidomide, it causes the abnormality, but some other drugs also may be there, like thalidomide drugs. So especially anti-cancer drugs and antiviral drugs, antifungal drugs, so we have to take care about when you want to prescribe to the pregnancy woman, because of they get the abnormalities. And some some as per the theoretical they know, but some we cannot predict it. So that's drugs know to be teratogenic or not when you are going to prescribing the drugs to the pregnancy women. So like that. So what is the chemical thalidomide, diphenhydramine. So thalidomide produces the limb defects, diphenhydramine produces the facial defects and mental retardation, diphenhydramine. And tetracycline bone and teeth abnormalities. Aspirin may cause harm in large doses only. So if the patient aspirin, so maximum the aspirin taken by the pregnancy women also, if the taken more dose, if the taken patient taken the more dose, it causes defects. And cocaine causes birth defects, possibility to affect as a vasoconstrictor, and that causes hypoxia. The cocaine causes the vasoconstrictor, that causes the hypoxia. Aspirin, it uses the some GIT problems and liver problems. So these are the children's they have the abnormalities due to because of maybe thalidomide, another one is maybe phenytoin, some other drugs. Alcohol causes the, that is alcohol syndrome, fetal alcohol syndrome. So here the when the pregnancy women taking the continuously alcohol, so these defects, so the ear not developed properly, the and the macroganglias, so the thin upper limb, but here this is the chin is too long and short nose, low nasal bridge. So these are all short palatal, these are all affected. So when the pregnancy women continuously taking the alcohol, then this will defects. Drugs taken during pregnancy, maternal infections are exposed to pollution. So the idea that, but the defects were primarily due to genetic damage was changed by two major discoveries. So first, this is regarding history, how genetic defects, not only sorry, how the birth defects. So maternal rubella causes birth defects, thalidomide causes birth defects. So they identified first these. So it is known that about 20 drugs or group of drugs can cause human birth defects. They are responsible for about 1% of all human birth defects. By far, the most important of these drugs are the anticonvulsants. So almost all of that, which one is maximum? Anticonvulsants are more effective, and anti-cancer drugs also, and antiviral drugs also. And maternal rubella and birth defects, so eye defects. So when the this is rubella. So cataracts. So heart defects, patent ducts arteries, stenosis of the pulmonary artery, so formation of stone in the pulmonary artery. Heart defects, that is deafness, no sensation, neural damage, and brain damage, ischemic damage, and variable microcephaly and mental retardation. So due to there is no oxygen supply in the to the brain, then automatically ischemic damage and microcephaly and mental retardation, fetal growth retardation. So defects induced by rubella result almost exclusively from the infection in the first 16 weeks of the gestation period. First 16 weeks, first trimester and the second trimester. So these first trimester most affected from the rubella. So in 1963 there was a rubella epidemic in Europe, followed in 1964 to 65 by an epidemic in the USA. It was estimated that 1.8 million people were infected and 30,000 children were born with the rubella associated defects. See how that time it creates these problems: eye defects, heart defects, deafness, brain damage, fetal growth. This is the cataract. Thalidomide, you know that in 1957 and 1961 initially as a sedative and sleeping tablet, and subsequently used to treat nausea and vomiting in pregnancy. Actually they are used to treat nausea and vomiting. So because of some pregnancy patients, they are getting the vomiting. So the drug was so non-toxic that the LD50 NMS could not be determined. Used in Australia, Germany, Japan, Britain, Brazil, Sweden and Italy. So exposure to the drug in early pregnancy resulted in severe malformation in nearly 10,000 children. 10,000 children, they are born without limbs formation. So this is so lessons learned from thalidomide. So after these histories, they identified so these drugs induces the birth defects. Embryo is not protected by the placenta, and most, if not all, chemicals or drugs with a molecular weight of less than 1000 reach the embryo. So most malformation result from the damage to the embryo during the organogenic period, week 3 to 8 of human development. The embryo may be more sensitive to the toxic properties of a drug than the adult. Am I correct or not? So these from the 3 to 8 weeks of it is development, the embryo more sensitive. So there may be major metabolic or other differences between species, such that a particular drug may cause birth defects in one species but not in another. So So that testing chemicals for teratogenicity is a legal regulation requires that drugs and other chemicals are tested in two species, usually rats and rabbits. So usually chemicals are tested at 3 doses. The highest dose is required to produce signs of maternal toxicity. This is controversial. So the pregnant animals are dosed with the test chemical from the time of implantation to end of the organogenic period. The pregnant animals are killed before birth, and these fetuses examined for the malformations. So that's why after after history, these abnormalities they tested chemicals in animals first. So whatever the drugs, whatever the chemicals, so this is the difference between the normal fetus and malformed and growth retarded fetus. See, so this is a normal fetus, these are all malformed growth retarded fetuses. So the internal structure of the fetus is examined by the taking slices. They're taking these slices through the preserved fetuses, so they can observe the histopathologically, and by examining the fetuses stand to show the skeleton. Along with it, they can observe the skeleton also. So these are the after sliding, they can observe each and every part histopathologically. So these are the few another therapeutic drugs teratogenic to humans. Anticonvulsants, anti-casein agents, I said that cyclophosphamide and methotrexate, and androgenic hormones, some hormones, that is donazole, anti-thyroid drugs, that is propyl uracil, aminoglycosis, streptomycin, and coumarin, anticoagulants, warfarin, and retinoic acids, this is vitamin A, and C inhibitors, captopril, angiotensin converting enzyme, tetracyclines, other drugs, thalidomide, lithium, fluconazole, antifungal drugs. So some causes of birth defects in Sweden, these are all regarding history. There are about 1 lakh births in Sweden each year due to this drugs causes. About 300 of these defects an exogenous cause and potentially preventable. Okay, about 3% women have diabetes, so the risk having a child with a birth defect is increased to 180 birth defects. So these are the possibility of anticonvulsants already we discussed. So the phenytoin to form the cleft lip, and carbamazepine defects in particularly cleft lip, valproic acid risks the birth defect 3 to 4 to folds, particularly malformation of the heart. So next, phenobarbital increases the risk of birth defects due to fold heart and facial clefting. So these phenobarbital is very dangerous. And lamotrigine, gabapentin, and domidose and teratose are not teratogenic, but at this stage there is insufficient data. So recent adverse report about lamotrigine. This is about regarding okay. Next, retinoic acid accumulate. So vitamin A, isotretinoin, a widely used treatment. So treatment for acne causes a severe malformation of the face, heart, and CNS and thymus if taken during the early pregnancy. See, these are the defects we can get. Heart. Senior prospective study of pregnancies exposed accidentally to isotretinoin during the first trimester, 23% developed malformation. See how much, 23% is. So the critical period for exposure appears to be week 2 to 5 post conception. So follow-up studies of children exposure to isotretinoin during the first trimester indicated that 47% of 5 years olds had intellectual defects. The safety of retinoid in the second and third trimester has not been established. So normally applied retinoids are unlikely to be teratogenic as the result is a low systemic exposure. So normally it is preferable retinoids are not to take internally, but it is also take a low amount and a low dose. So AC inhibitors, see the AC inhibitors, how it is affected. So the AC inhibitor, how it is affected. So it is or perhaps it is used in antihypertension. So drug is used pregnancy there because of in pregnancy times we can get hypertension, so that that time they can give the some antihypertensive drugs, so that their use in the second and third trimester has been associated with reduced amounts of amniotic fluid leading to compression of the fetus. So if it is given, you know that already angiotensin, they automatically what happen to reduce the formation of angiotensin 1 and angiotensin 2. Then when these it is formed, there is no water availability, fluid availability. So here these inhibitors reduce the amniotic fluid. This is a very important for the shock absorbing and maintaining the surrounded the fetus. So when it is deficiency, the compression of the fetus, see, so the pre-assumed mechanism is fetal hypotension causing a reduced renal blood flow leading to anuria, so no urine, and reduces the amniotic fluid production. So normally the fetus swallows and amniotic fluid, normally the fetus swallows amniotic fluid and the kidneys excrete it back into the amniotic cavity via the urine. Actually the fetus swallows the amniotic fluid, but that is excreted it back into the amniotic cavity via the urine. But these drugs to inhibit the formation, then automatically the fetus goes to like this. So it was the thought that ACE inhibitors were safe in the first trimester, which was good since accident use in pregnancy could be corrected by changing to another antibiotics before the start of the second trimester. And from that onwards, in the first trimester they cannot use the ACE inhibitors. Second trimester we can use little bit, not that much. Also we can use another drug. So these are the regarding reference. Coumarin, anticoagulants. So anticoagulant in pregnancy may be needed for the thromboembolic disorders and in patient with artificial heart valves. So although heparins appear to be safe for the fetus, they are large molecules that do not that do not cross the placenta. It is difficult. It is difficult for outpatient to administer them. So since warfarin is administered orally, it is the preferred drug for the chronic administration. See, a recent analysis of 979 pregnancies concluded that warfarin exposure in the first trimester was associated with the 6% of prevalence of warfarin embryopathy. So this is characterized by midfacial, see that midfacial hypoplasia and abnormal calcification in bones, in cartilage, and in the cartilaginous parts of the growing bones. The embryopathy can be avoided by replacing the warfarin with heparin. So during the 6th and 12th gestation week, and bleeding in 3rd trimester also. So these are all the happen when the warfarin taken as anticoagulant. Misoprostol is an analog of prostaglandin. It is used for the treatment of peptic ulcer disease. In some countries, misoprostol has been used at a higher dose of 600 to 180 micrograms. Induce the first term abortions. It causes the abortions. If the attempted abortion is unsuccessful, there is a considerable risk that the child will born with the birth defects. Maximum it is takes place abortion. If the abortion it is not takes place, then compulsory the baby get the birth defects, particularly limb defects and brain abnormalities. Birth defects have not been associated with the use of drug for the treatment of ulcers. Tetracycline, this is antibiotic. See, end of the it is as little as 1 gram day for 3 days at any time after the end of the 4th month of gestation can cause permanent yellow staining of the deciduous teeth. So tetracycline chelate with the calcium and deposit in calcifying the teeth and bone. As little as 1 gram per day for 3 days at any time after the end of the 4th month. Of gestation can cause a permanent yellow staining of the deciduous teeth. So this is the regarding tetracycline. So other human tetragens, alcohol, cocaine, heparin, so these are also getting the effects. So cocaine, we can get like this type of effects. Cocaine causes vasoconstriction, so then reduces the blood flow. Then a probability of intrauterine growth retardation. Then certain birth defects of brain, limbs, heart, genitals, we can get effect. This is one of patient taking the pregnant women taking the cocaine. Diabetes patients. See, these diabetes patients are how patients 5% of develop diabetes during pregnancy. Poorly controlled diabetes in the first trimester is associated with an increased incidence of birth defects, may be increased, so including neural tube defects. So in the 2nd and 3rd trimester, the extra transfer of glucose to the fetus can result in increased the fat storage in the fetus. So diabetes have the more sugar, it is enter into the baby, then it is to form the feet, can result increase the fat storage. So then you can get the neonatal problems. So when the drug therapy is required, insulin is the drug of choice, it does not cross the placenta. So this is the treatment for the cigarette and smoking. So smoking a cigarette appears to double women's risk of developing placental problems and placental abortions. Placenta peels away. So cigarette smoking in pregnancy seems to be associated with a small increase in the risk of cleft lip. So these are the possibilities. Some, and also along with some methodological problems to address by epidemiological research. So serious birth defects occurs approximately 3 to 4% of newborn infants. So we cannot consider birth defects as a single homogeneous outcome. Some epidemiological, the assessment sometimes maybe. In fact, physical birth defects include a wide range of malformations that vary in many ways, include their gestational timing, embryologic tissue of origin, and a mechanism of development. Sample size considerations also important. Exposure, so non-prescribed drugs. So effects on non-prescribed drugs on the fetus are largely unstudied. So maybe so non-prescribed. Some the pregnant women are taking the from the OTC counter, other than the counter drugs. So non-prescribed drugs may be exposed. Recall bias, maybe sometimes case control recall bias is also substantially increased when the women are asked about use according to various indications, and it is further increased when drugs are asked by specific names. Currently available solutions, cohort and case study designs are the favorite approaches used to generate and test hypothesis regarding the drugs and birth defects. These are the currently available solutions. So the overall area of rarity of birth defects and particularly specific defects argues for the use of case control design when exposed to prevalence is sufficiently high. Such studies may be conducted on an ad hoc basis or within the context of case control surveillance and cohort studies, case reports. So this is regarding, so the time is maximum. So hope understand the drug induced birth defects. Thank you.